Hello and welcome to the Raptors Reaction Podcast. I'm your host, William Liu, and I'm speaking to you after the Raptors lost 104-98 at the hands of the Los Angeles Clippers in Staples Center. Just a quick refresher for anyone who's new to the podcast, who hasn't heard the first two that I've done for preseason. I'm hoping to do a 15-minute reaction podcast after every Raptors game this season, just to give anyone who's missed the game a sense of what went on, what were the major storylines, and mostly to hear my own voice. So before I go on, if anyone wants to give me any feedback as to what I should do with the podcast, what segments I should have, what topics I should focus on, just let me know either in the comments or hit me up on Twitter at William_Liu, just like Lou Williams but backwards. Okay, on to the game. So, general impressions on the game. First of all, Kyle Lowry and Jared Sullinger were held out for rest. So, the Raptors are clearly starting shorthanded. And I thought the Clippers would also start shorthanded too, considering that they played last night against the Golden State Warriors, where they were promptly smacked by 45 points and were down like 81-33 at one point. But to my surprise, Doc Rivers didn't rest his guys. In fact, he actually played his starters quite a few minutes. I think it was like a kick in the ass kind of thing, because they really did look lifeless against the Warriors. So in this one, he had, let's say, Blake Griffin 26 minutes, DeAndre Jordan 25, Chris Paul 27. It's just a lot more minutes than you would normally see in a preseason game, and that kind of reflected upon the outcome of the game itself. While the actually relevant players were on the court, the Clippers were clearly better. Blake Griffin had an awesome game, 10 of 13 shooting for 24 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists in just 26 minutes. Completely dominated the game, especially with the pick and pop jumpers, but also made a couple of really nice plays. Chris Paul, 15 assists in 27 minutes is patently ridiculous, but that comes with the territory for Chris Paul. So the Clippers, they really wanted to have a statement game, even though it's preseason. They really wanted to have a statement game after the way they got embarrassed last night, and I thought they made that statement. But to the Raptors' credit, once the relevant rotation guys finished up for the night, and the third units basically went out there, the Raptors actually fared pretty well. Basically, a unit composed of mostly Bruno Caboclo, who was it? Baby Nogueira, EJ Singler, Drew Crawford, and Brady Heslip at point guard. They actually played really well, scored 16 straight at one point in the fourth quarter to erase a giant lead for the Clippers. They didn't actually manage to complete the comeback, but they got pretty close and made a really spirited game towards the end. Really active, just a really fun game throughout. So, I'm going to hand out 3 stars for the game. And the first star has to go to Brady Heslip, oddly enough, even though he didn't really play in any relevant minutes. But I thought, this is the first action that we've seen out of Brady Heslip in a Raptors uniform. And he looked great. It's just 13 points on 5 of 6 shooting. And that doesn't include a 3 that he made shortly after the buzzer went off. As the buzzer went off. So that should really be 16 points on 6 of 7 shooting for Brady Heslip. Just a really impressive night for the Canadian shooting guard out of Baylor. Very steady shot mechanics. I mean, it's as gorgeous as you would imagine someone to be, in terms of his shorty shooting stroke, but also a pretty handsome dude just in general. Just very, very fluid mechanics. This is clearly, you could definitely see why this guy set a D-League record for 13 threes made in a game last year. He ran the point. He played pick and roll. He was solid. Mostly looked for himself out the pick and roll, but also had some nice passes that didn't necessarily end up in assists because they didn't make shots. But he also had a couple driving scoops driving layups over taller defenders. And look, I mean, he's a 6'1" shooting guard that has very average sized arms and everything else like that. So I'm not expecting him to be much more than just a spot-up shooter, but at least today he handled the ball quite nicely, got his own offense, and even recorded 2 assists in 9 minutes. So Brady Heslip, man, this is the first action we got of him, and it was a really strong first impression. So, second star of the game goes to DeMar DeRozan, who is clearly in regular season form. He is just very, very smooth, man. I mean, without Kyle Lowry in the game, there was not a lot of offense being created for anyone on the Raptors, so it was mostly down to DeRozan to create looks in the first half. And, mostly you want to use preseason to sharpen your skills, to work on all, the lesser players in the team, try to get them acclimated. But when that's not working, DeRozan just said, enough is enough. I'm going to take over. And he did. 20 points, 18 minutes on 8 of 11 shooting. Didn't make any threes, which is classic DeRozan, and just constantly attacked the hoop. I mean, I don't even really have to really describe to any listener as to what a good DeRozan game looks like. Mostly it's a lot of great drives to the hoop, slaloming his way to the basket, drawing contact, getting to the free throw line, although he didn't do too much of that today. A lot of great, gorgeous, turnaround jump shots, a couple scoop shots in a lane. How DeRozan goes, but it's just really nice. He completely burned Austin Rivers, which is always funny to watch. Doc Rivers' face and his reactions after his son makes mistakes. DeRozan, they tried bigger defenders on him at one point. Luke Richard and Mbah Moute. Oh, no, sorry, not Luke Richard. Wes Johnson got a couple of cracks at him. Just, DeRozan, he's very solid. He's very solid, and you don't have to worry about him. He's completely ready for every game, and he looked good. As for a third star, I'm not really sure who to really give it to. I mean, in terms of who played well, Corey Joseph played well. A lot of driving scoop layups. Again, I don't really have to describe how Corey Joseph's offense looks. It's Corey Joseph. He drives the basket, corkscrew layups, using the rim to shield against shot blockers. Just very crafty stuff all around. But if there's anyone that really truly impressed me, even though he didn't actually have that great of a game, was Bruno Caboclo, who I will talk about a little bit later on. But Bruno, he played a big hand in that comeback. So maybe Bruno gets a third star, considering he's not going to get too many chances to earn such honors going forward. Such great honors, such as getting the third star on the Raptors Reaction Podcast for Raptors Republic. The Gerald Henderson Award. So I'm going to hand out the Gerald Henderson Award, which is some very clever commenter left some feedback saying that I should award this to whichever player randomly has a big game that doesn't normally have a big game, similar to the way Gerald Henderson always burns the Raptors. So for tonight, I got to give it to Raymond Felton, who played 37 minutes. The funny thing about Raymond Felton is, well, first of all, the guy's sometimes I look at Raymond Felton and I'm just like, you're very talented. You're kind of like if Kyle Lowry didn't stop eating at some point. You know what I mean? Because there's definitely a lot of talent there. He doesn't always put it all together, but tonight he played a big role. Definitely made some big key veterans plays down the stretch, what the Clippers really needed with their young unit. He was there to guide them. 17 points on 10 shots, got to the line a lot. Just 5 rebounds, 2 assists. Just a solid play all around. But he gets that award in part because the Clippers broadcast with Jerry Lawler, and I forget who the other guy is. They're just very enthusiastic about all their players. It's a classic kind of cheerleader type broadcast. And at one point, I wrote it down. Hold on. What did they say? Oh, yeah. At one point, they said, Raymond Felton is the X factor. He's a playmaker. If he has a good year, watch out. And I'm just like, guys, what are you talking about? This is Raymond Felton. So, this 32-year-old point guard gets the Gerald Henderson Award, mostly for playing well against D-League players in garbage time. But some takeaways, some storylines to update you guys on. The 15th man, I think that one is probably the one that is most important from this game, because all 5 players that are in realistic contention. I'm leaving out Yannick Maria because it's pretty clear he's just going to go to the D League. All 5 players who have a realistic chance. Oh, and Uthov. So I guess 4 players there. 4 players who had a realistic chance of getting the 15th spot. They all got significant minutes today. Fred VanVleet got the start at point guard with Kyle Lowry out. He did not look good, which makes a lot of sense considering he had to guard Chris Paul, and Chris Paul just completely burned him. Like, this is such a tough assignment. I would almost say, like, for a rookie point guard, guarding Chris Paul is almost harder than guarding Steph Curry, because Chris Paul is going to get physical with you. He's very active on defense, will deliver hard fouls, and he definitely delivered a couple of those today. Just some nights to forget for Fred VanVleet, but stepping up in his place, Drew Crawford, I thought he had a strong game. He was aggressive, got to the hoop a lot. Only shot 2 of 7 from the field for 7 points, but I thought the process of his game was good. Just could have hit a couple more open jumpers and made a couple more layups. He would have had a nice game. Obviously, Heslip really boldly announced himself. He hadn't played in the other 2 preseason games before this, unlike Crawford and VanVleet, but Brady looked really great. Looked really, really great. I had no idea he could handle the ball in point guard situations like that. I mean, Blake Murphy was telling me about, how, Blake is the D-League guru, right? So he was telling me how, Heslip handled the ball a little bit, both for Team Canada and also in the D-League. And it's nice to see that translate, at least to some minor extent, at this level. And the 4th guy in contention for that spot, EJ Singler, unfortunately, he made made a mess of the game towards the end. He played 12 minutes, was 0 of 2 from the field, got 3 rebounds. But, the Raptors made that 16-point run, 16-0 run at one point, and after that, I don't want to blame the loss on EJ Singler because it doesn't really matter. Like, it was a meaningless game, right? But Singler made 2 poor plays where one, he overran a play where he was supposed to rotate over to the wing and sort of stop above the break there, and he flubbed the pass from Brady Heslip. Now, granted, the pass was a bit behind him anyway, so that was a costly turnover because the Raptors were down 2 at that point. Singler overran the ball, and the Clippers got a dunk on the other end, made it a 4-point game. And then the next play, Singler was wide open, some nice ball movement to get him an open corner 3. He airballed that. That was very disappointing. And then he missed the driving layup towards the end. And then after that, he fouled Wes Johnson on a 3, which was an iffy call. Very, very iffy call. Very questionable if there was contact. But as soon as Johnson got that call, that was essentially the game was over. So, unfortunate night for EJ Singler, but he definitely made a lot of hustle plays, and this isn't even just like a race-based comp. He really did make a lot of hustle plays. At one point, he dove trying to dive around Raymond Felton's legs, trying to save a ball from going out of bounds. You could definitely tell that these guys are, they know that this is their chance to earn a potential NBA spot, so they're definitely giving it all out there, and it's fun to see. Also, EJ Singler has a man bun, which I had no idea about. It's an okay look. As for the rookie report, Pascal Siakam had a really nice game, very energetic around the basket. I just like his compete level so much. I think right away, I'm not expecting too much out of Siakam because all these rookies need a lot of skill development before they make positive contributions at an NBA level, especially for a very good team like the Raptors. But at the very least, you got to come with the energy. You got to come with that activity. And I think Siakam is coming in every game completely electric, trying to make plays happen. Today he had a couple of great rim runs that turned into fouls, but just running the lane hard in transition, presenting himself to the ball. That's good stuff. Had a really nice defensive possession again against a perimeter player. This is the 3rd time in a row we saw this now, where obviously the first game against Golden State, he had this one block against Kevin Durant on the first time he had to guard anybody in the NBA, and that was really impressive. Against Denver, he had a really nice rotate. He rotated onto Wilson Chandler at one point, and Chandler tried to dunk him. He also blocked him as well. And this time, we didn't block him, but he got isolated on Jamal Crawford after DeMar DeRozan switched. He switched DeMar DeRozan on a 2-4 screen. And Siakam really did use his length, quickness well, and forced Crawford into a turnover. So this is the third straight game now where we've seen him defend against a wing player, and that's very, very encouraging, just to really hammer home his potential defensively, especially versatility. In this era of the NBA, that versatility is very key. Siakam also had a really nice putback dunk, banked in a free throw at one point. Worked a nice pick and roll with Brady Heslip, and also, this is the thing I like the most about Siakam, was he kind of got into like a verbal jousting match with Mo Spates, and he just wouldn't take shit from this veteran, and that's fun, and I like that a lot. Like Siakam, he wasn't backing down, nothing like that. So I liked how energetic he was. Unfortunately, I keep harping on this, but it keeps happening. But it really stands out in a stark contrast to Jakob Poeltl, who I think is probably better as a player right now. It's just it annoys me a lot that he keeps going soft around the basket. Maybe it's just a lack of lift or whatever like that, or maybe he needs to work on getting stronger. But he keeps trying to make finesse finishes around the basket and it's very, very annoying. He flubbed another makeable layup today. It's just, I don't know, man. It's annoying. Otherwise, Poeltl's playing well positionally, defensively. He did great. Every game now he's following up drivers and getting in position where he can get putbacks and stuff. But I think his game would be a lot stronger if he could actually just go hard in the paint, like legitimately go hard in the paint, which is disappointing to see him not do that, because again, in order to succeed as a rookie, you got to go balls to the wall all the time, especially as a big. So last thing I want to touch on is Bruno. Like I talked about earlier, Bruno had a pretty impressive game for Bruno Caboclo. Not an impressive game overall. 5 points on 2 of 8 shooting, only hit 1 of 5 from deep. But Bruno made a lot of plays, man. He made a lot of plays. He first of all, he missed both of his first 2 threes, but he eventually did hit his third tray, and then the last 2, But they were good looks. He got in good position, moved himself accordingly. This wasn't just like standing still in the corner every time and getting a kick out. This is a lot of it was Bruno moving around and getting himself open. Well, that's good, because in previous games, especially against Denver, he just didn't move at all on offense, which is odd to see. Defensively, again, we saw a bit of that potential against Denver. He had a lot of possessions against Danilo Gallinari, where he was able to body up, use his length to get blocks and stuff. Same thing again this time. He just blocked the shit out of a Bryce Johnson post up. It's funny to see Bryce Johnson as a power forward, 6'9", going against Bruno, and Bruno looked like twice as big as this dude, and he's supposed to be a small forward. So that was encouraging. Used his length to get a steal at one point. Drove to the basket. You saw him use his handles. He missed that one, but he got his own miss, and he got a put back there. So it's nice to see Bruno play actively and doing some things out there, because you can definitely tell that the raw tools are there. He just needs to put it together a little bit more often. And again, like I said from the last podcast, it's always encouraging when you see his potential turn into real production, even if it's in meaningless games like this. So anyway, that does it for the Raptors' preseason loss to the Clippers. Again, if you have any feedback, please let me know. Either leave a comment in the comment section, or hit me up on Twitter at William_Lou. This has been the Raptors Reaction Podcast, and I'll see you guys the next time the Raptors play, which is whenever.